Now, treatment of diabetes for angioplasty and bypass surgery is more challenging than in non-diabetic. That is another shortcoming of the diabetic, because the coronary arteries in a diseased person have got more diffuse disease. That means long segments of disease where the efficacy of angioplasty is reduced. The grafts, if they are put in the arteries, there is more chance of those grafts getting affected early. Although it's also a fact that in diabetics with multi-vessel disease, that means where the more than 2 arteries are blocked, bypass surgery may be more effective than angioplasty and stenting. Although this particular study called the FREEDOM study is not a very new study, it was published in 5-6 years ago, and things have changed since then. Things have become better for diabetics. We have better drugs, we have better stents, we have better antiplatelet agents, our angioplasty has become better, and so those results may not be applicable today. That is the reason we have embarked on a study in our hospital, and it's not one hospital study. We are including 70 hospitals of the country, and this study Tuxedo 2 has started, and in this particular study we are basically comparing 2 stents head to head, but our ultimate aim is to compare the results of angioplasty using the new generation stents with the results of bypass surgery results, which were published in Freedom, and we hope that the results are different now, and maybe the angioplasty is coming closer to the results of surgery, because more and more patients are being subjected to angioplasty because it's non-surgical, it does not require anesthesia, it does not require prolonged hospitalization. The recovery is very rapid. Within 1 or 2 days the person can go back to work, whereas surgery has those limitations. So that is the reason we need such studies, so that what we give to our patient, what we offer to our patients should be good for short term as well as long term. If we show them that the results of angioplasty are now closer to the results of surgery, then we can with confidence tell them that you can have angioplasty. But always the results depend upon the angiographic findings in a particular patient with diabetes. If the disease, one thinks, is not amenable to a good angioplasty, that's why there is a concept of a heart team. That means after an angiography in a person, stable patient who is walking around, has come for an angiography because of some of the tests had shown that they are positive for ischemia, you get these tests done and do an angiogram where all the arteries are involved, 2 or 3 vessels are involved. It's good. Surgeon also has a look, cardiologist also has a look, the physician also has a look, and other specialties could also have a look, and then tell the person, the patient and the family, these are the pros and cons, and now you decide. And what is the decision of the heart team? Heart team, if the heart team in general feels surgery will be better, it should be said. But if the heart team feels no, angioplasty gives equivalent results, although there are some long-term advantages of surgery, then let the patient decide. And very often patient decides for a non-surgical procedure, and it's very logical. Who would like to be admitted for 7-8 days and then be at rest for 10 days, 15 days? So these are some of the important things. So besides an ECG and the echo, which we had recommended that most diabetics, elderly diabetics should have periodically, one should also have a stress test, and a TMT, that means exercise ECG, or an exercise echo, or a stress echo by giving them a drug called dobutamine, which increases the heart rate, to see what happens. Because as I told you, diabetics very often get silent ischemia, and unless we do these tests, we will not know. So wherever one suspects that the person might be having underlying significant heart disease, coronary artery disease, some of these tests should be done and they can clarify. If they are negative, patient as well as the physician is happy continuing to treat the person on the lines of management of diabetes, BP lowering, lipid lowering. And on the other hand, if there is a lot of ischemia coming by increasing the heart rate, I think then it merits a angiographic examination and then decide what is best for the patient. So, diabetes management is a management where complete family is involved. It is not just the person. The whole family has to be receptive to the idea of the complete management, and it runs in families. So, the family members also, especially the blood relations, the brothers, the sisters, children, parents, all should have some periodic tests, and if there is a problem, then start the management early. If one person has got disease, he could warn the other members of the family that they also might be harboring it, and don't wait for a complication of diabetes to occur before you become, careful. It's better to be very careful, as we say that, a stitch in time saves 9, if you put one stitch, otherwise the whole thing gets torn if you are not careful. So that also applies to the recognition of diabetes, and also it makes the management of diabetes easier. So my message to all of you is that every adult should know his blood sugar level. So it should be done periodically. In a person where it was very good, a fasting of 80 or 90, then maybe once in a year, once in 2 years. But if it was borderline 120, 130, it should be done more frequently. And if it is high, then get a HbA1c done, see whether it is a, the diagnosis of the diabetes is based upon certain things like a fasting of more than a particular level, more than 140 or 160. There are guidelines for that, HbA1c more than 6.5. If the person is diabetic, then we should start managing the person, and everybody does not need drugs. In the initial period, it's just weight reduction, exercise and diet. But there should not be a complacency for starting a drug. If it is still high, start the drugs. And there are again guidelines for using which drug first, and that guideline should be applied by your physician. And then look for associated problems which occur often with diabetics. Diabetic should know his blood pressure. If it is high, it should be brought to the target of 130/80 or lower. Diabetic should know his serum lipid levels, and LDL cholesterol should be kept at low levels. Diabetic should know his weight. He should try his best to keep it as per the normal in the nomogram. So if one does all these things in the beginning, in the initial stage, the rate of complications will be reduced significantly, and the life of the diabetics can become closer to a non-diabetic person, can live longer, you can reduce the complication, you can postpone the complication to a great extent. Thank you very much.